Hey, welcome back to the channel. Um, Today I want to be serious and talk about something really serious. I want to talk about addiction. No matter what type of addiction you have, whether it's drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, food, lottery, gambling. There's all types of addiction out there, and it affects tens of thousands of people and families alike every year. Now, the reason I want to talk about this is I normally don't air my dirty laundry out there on the internet or YouTube where this will be posted, but 3 years ago on August 11th, which is the day you will all be watching this, my wife and I lost our only child to addiction. He was, he started drugs at an early age in his, teen years, and he struggled with it a majority of his life. And, in August of 2020, it finally caught up to him, and that was that. But, if you know somebody who's struggling with addiction, no matter what it is, one of the aforementioned, cigarettes, drugs, narcotics, prescription drugs, gambling. I mean, it seems from, talking to, counselors, me and my wife went to, survivors, counseling, and it seems that prescription drugs are the biggest one that people become addicted to. They got an injury, and next thing you know, they're just, eating them, and they can't get away from it. And it's a terrible affliction that affects the families. Unless you've gone through it, it's very hard to explain. I'll be upfront and honest. The day I found out that my son was a drug addict, I prepared myself from that moment. I prepared myself for that phone call that, no parent wants to receive. And I can tell you, when we got that phone call on that fateful day, I was not ready for it. I told myself I was. No, you're not ready. You're not ready for that. No matter how much you prepare yourself, you're not ready for that. It was a tragedy. It took my wife and I a long time to come to terms with it. I mean, you never get over it. I mean, even today, 3 years later, it is still very raw. I mean, it's like I just hung out off the phone with the cop from Massachusetts where this all took place, and I reside in Florida. And I mean, it's like I just got off the phone with the cop, and I can tell you, I can also remember verbatim me and my son's last telephone conversation. I mean, it was a heartbreaking phone call. I mean, he was dealing with some issues. I mean, and he was a good kid. He was a welder. He was a fabricator. He was a ship fitter and a bridge fitter, and I mean, he did some pretty incredible things in his short time here on Earth. I mean, he worked on a crane in the Philadelphia shipyard there, 450 feet above the water or so, dead of winter, freezing rain, snow. Yeah, and he went up to Nome, Alaska to work on the gold dredges. He did that. He was able to come back from there and with a fistful of dollars, as they say, and he was able to purchase himself his dream truck, which was a 2006 Chevy Silverado SS. I'll drop a picture. You can look and see. And I mean, You know, when Patrick was good, well, probably shouldn't say his name, but it doesn't matter at this point. When Patrick was good, Patrick was real good, and when he was bad, he was at his worst. And I saw him at both, and I mean, never stopped loving the kid. I hope I don't get emotional. Never stop loving the kid. You can never stop loving your kids no matter what. And so I really don't want to make this a long drawn out video, but there's, you know, I mean, I'm not very eloquent with words. I mean, I'm more of a point your finger in your face and tell you no, don't do this, but to somebody that's dealing with an addiction, you can't do that. It's telling them no is a hard sell. It really is. And like I said, until you've dealt with it firsthand, you really don't have any idea of what it's like. It's almost too hard to explain. I mean, there's turmoil, there's despair, it's always in the back of your head, you know. I mean, does he say he's clean? Do you believe he's clean? It's odd. I mean, it's tough. I mean, if you want to get an idea of what addiction is really like, I mean, there is a great song out there, and I mean, this song really touched my heart. And it's from a hip-hop artist, rapper named Tom MacDonald. He more or less raps about addiction and what it does to you and your parents and your loved ones, your entire family. So, I mean, you can Google that. I don't think I can drop a link. I mean, I think there might be copyright problems there. So, I mean, once again, it's Tom MacDonald, and the name of the song is Withdrawals. So, I mean, you know, on this day, you know, August 11th, when you're watching this, you know, if you're the praying type, say a prayer for somebody you know that might be struggling. Say a prayer for yourself if you might be struggling with addiction, no matter what it is. I know I struggle. I struggle with addiction. I'm addicted to food. I mean, I love food. I'm not as, you know, not as big as I was. I've been good to myself the past 80 weeks. I've managed to lose 112 pounds and keep it off. But this isn't about me. This is about my son, your son, daughter, your father, your mother, your uncle, brother, sister, next door neighbor, school teacher, student that might be dealing with addiction and struggling, you know, with something. I mean, there's plenty of free counseling out there. There's always help. I mean, there's Knocking On, there's Al-Anon, there's AA. So there is plenty. So, I mean, don't sit idly by. You know, don't succumb to the temptations of the product, I will call it, of whatever it is you may be addicted to or know somebody that has an addiction. It's a tough subject. It's a very tough subject. I mean, trying to remain composed here. You know, you always get a little. I always get a little emotional when I talk about it. But yeah, I mean, so I really don't know what more I can say. I mean, there are counselors out there. There are free counselors. There's helplines. There's hotlines. I mean, you may think it absurd, but geez, you can even reach out. I mean, you can reach out to your local pastor. You can reach out to your local police department and tell them you need help. I mean, they're understanding. The last thing these cops want to do is go answer a, overdose call. Believe me, I know. So I think I will cut this off here and leave it at that. And like I said, think about it. Addiction. It's a terrible, terrible thing. It's a pandemic, I believe. And I mean, like I said, it affects tens of thousands of people and families. So, once again, if you, yourself, or someone you know, whether it's a loved one, a family member, or a next door neighbor, talk to them. Try to get them help. Ask them. And like I said, plenty of hotlines out there from everything from, gambling to drugs, to alcohol, tobacco. I mean, I believe every state in the country now has, free patches or free medication to help you kick the cigarette habit. I mean, if it was only that easy, you can reach out to your local minister, your local pastor, your local support group. There's support groups all over the place. You can even, believe me, I have spent time with a lot of police in person at one of my hobbies, and they are there to help, So, as I stop and wait my turn to take this left-hand turn and continue on my ride, because, geez, it's early, and it's only 93 degrees out. I think I'm going to rip off another 100 miles of back roads here in nice balmy Florida. Oh, and stay tuned. We have the 13,000 plus mile review coming up, so there's that. Yeah, of course, got a truck pulling right up on me, so I'll let him go while I end this. All right, so as usual, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and yeah, stay tuned, subscribe, and we got that 13,000 mile review coming up. So peace and God bless.